I'm editing, and there's a really important line that I should have included. I should have prepared it before recording. I was already, I took what I wanted from this because was already having a thought. And this actually is perfectly aligned with the thought. Okay. I'll read it in English after. Quand on s'interroge sur le sens de nos actes, and this is because I usually hate hearing my accent, and it was pretty awful in this video I made, and I kind of hated hearing it, but it wasn't really for a public audience anyway. And so here we go. Quand on s'interroge sur le sens de nos actes, une amitié comme celle d'Adrien constitue une référence réelle pour moi. De plus en plus fuse cette question: quelle est la place du vieillard, de l'orphelin, du sidéen, de la prostituée? Au centre, entre camarades, chacun se démunit fut-il, si démuni fut-il, avait sa place. So that's actually not what I want to read. All right, so when we think about the meaning of our actions, our friendship, like the one with Adrian, constitutes a real point of reference for me. And we keep having this question: where does the old person, the orphan, I don't know what Sidean means, maybe handicapped, and the prostitute, where do they belong? And he says, in the center, between friends, each one, equipped or unequipped as he may be. Had his role place, had his place, had where he belonged, or had his niche. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Au centre, this is page 38 if you're following. Au centre, nous prenions très vite conscience qu'il n'y a jamais d'acquis définitif dans l'existence. Chaque jour, il nous fallait nous remettre à l'ouvrage, résoudre les difficultés une par une, assumer notre condition, rester debout. Voilà notre travail, notre véritable vocation, ce que j'appelle, faute de mieux, le métier d'homme. Actually, fuck, I should really read it before I read. Page 41. Oh, and so that other thing said, for any English speakers, it said, we could never, we had to quickly learn that there is no definitive progress. Absolute, and you have to keep going back to work, keep solving problems one by one, own your situation, stay standing. That's our job, our real vocation, and what I would call the profession of man. Okay, now page 41. Right, it's 2 lines before what okay. Je pense à lui lorsque des personnes assurent que ce qui compte aujourd'hui, c'est la profession que l'on exerce, le rang que l'on occupe. And he's talking about this guy who, he was talking about who? Oh yeah, the one that they're all making fun of, and the joy he brought them all by just always being in good spirits. And he was just a really simple guy, but just, he just always had a smile or whatever, and was always saying, "Beau poule, beau poule." Well, I don't know how to do whatever accent he was doing, but beau poule. but it's spelled B-O to try to get, so Beaupuil. I don't know. Okay, I probably shouldn't actually even be doing an imitation. And so he says, I think of him when people insist that what matters today is our profession and the rung on the ladder, the echelon, the rank, the whatever that we hold, the position that we hold. And no, it doesn't. We're a community. Why are we counting? And we're not very good at judging relationships anyway, so why are we trying to count? Is everybody happy? And apparently this Adrian guy, despite being made fun of, he was happy. That was his role. That was his role, says this guy. This guy was making fun of him all the time. A lot more to say about this topic. I'm just going to quickly add. I mean, what's the number one career thing for like the aspiration said by parents of their kids when they're really impressed with their kids? So there's doctor, lawyer, engineer, right? Which all are roles that are going to require a lot of support from people, right? But what's sort of the number one? Oh, my kid's amazing. He's gonna be what one day? President, right? Literally the role that requires the most people working towards you in the country, and supposed to be the role that involves you contributing your absolute everything to those people. But so why do we do that? You know, it's silly. So let's one piece of practical advice: let's stop talking to our kids about being president or even the boss of their own company and doctor. And look, they can be whatever they want to be. Okay. If they want to be, if they let them know they can be president if they want to be, but let them know that it's not just about that status and power, and that it's not meant to be a symbol of intellectual and social achievement. I mean, it isn't, but sometimes we act like that when we talk to our kids about it, right? Oh, my kid's so great, he's gonna be president one day. So yeah, and all the pressure about owning your own business, and all the shaming about having a boss, you know. A lot of bosses are shit, a lot of companies are shit. And a lot of entrepreneurs are really shit. But what's valued is not be a good member of the community. One of the most valued things in so many communities in the West is be an entrepreneur. Stop contributing to other people's mission and come up with your own way to make profit. And have people supporting your effort to have a more luxurious life. Oh my goodness. So I think there's a lot more to say about this, and so who knows, maybe this is not the end of, I'm still editing. So really quickly, just regarding the whole don't tell kids they can be president thing. Sorry. What I mean is, tell a kid that I think I said you can tell them they can be president, but also tell them what it actually involves. And then, tell them, hey, you can absolutely be a doctor if you put your mind to it, if you focus, whatever, growth mindset stuff, then you can absolutely do that. You can do that. Just find whatever interests you, right? If you wanna work at the cash register at the grocery store because you like just seeing the people in the neighborhood every day, cool. If you want to be the leader of a gang, okay. If you want to be the number 2 in a gang, okay. If you want to be a pawn in a gang, if that's what you feeling. I'm sure a lot of people do. There are more pawns than pieces, eh? Then cool, great. We definitely need pawns. I applied to the National Guard before I had any real sense about politics I had sense about politics, but just, I don't know, I just saw in the films the heroes and I don't know. So I took the test and everything, and I was happy to be a pawn. Military pawns aren't great, so I'm glad I wasn't a military pawn. But I'm saying I'm happy to be a pawn. I'm on the board. We're all part of the team. This is awesome. I don't need all that attention on me sometimes. I love getting missions. So, there you go. I used to think that the only acceptable roles were alpha or lone. And so I alternated between them. Honestly, I've been second in command before. I remember I was horrified when I found out that that's how people saw me. Back in middle school with this one guy. What? I was following him around? Okay. I wasn't, I was happy, and I wasn't doing bad stuff, so, okay. I was following his example. Okay, that's how society works, okay. He wasn't on the spectrum. He was super cool and funny. I was funny. He wanted to be friends with me because I was cool and funny. But I didn't swear like him. And I didn't rub my carrot or whatever the fuck he's talking about. And she was just so cool. So yeah, I followed him, learned a lot from him. And yes. In 7th and 8th grade, I was Kevin's number 2 or 3 maybe. Because there was another guy. See, and then there was a 4th guy who was clearly not on our level. And so I always thought I was on top and he was, but actually no, Kevin was on top. Me and Satien were here. No, Kevin was here. I was here and Satien was here. Satien was quieter and yeah. Well, look, I don't need to justify it. Satien was my sidekick before Kevin came. No, he wasn't. He was Jack Lambrecht's sidekick. I didn't like Jack Lambrecht. And then Kevin came and sort of replaced Jack Lambrecht as a cool kid, but I liked Kevin. So then my relationship with Satien was no longer, it could be a secret, and the 3 of us became best friends. And then there's the 4th one that would always hang out with us. And then there was another one that sometimes we'd invite. We didn't think he was really, but he was just kind of nice to have around. He was cool. So he was kind of a lone wolf. Yeah. There is no shame. How to say it with it being believable? Because even if you say there's no shame in being that role, it's like you're assuming that really there is a shame. If you say there's no shame, or if you say we need all roles, well, yeah, but no, I'm saying there's value. Whatever you are, whatever you find yourself to be, and it'll change based on different contexts and the people that you're around. But if you're true to yourself, if you know that you can play different roles, then find the role among that group. Well, you don't have to look for it, just fall into it. Maybe with one group you observe. You don't make decisions. Maybe with another group, they're always looking at you and you fell into the role of being the leader and they were younger than you or whatever. And so it was natural. And yes, we have different relationships to the community, and it's not that we are betas or alphas. Learn your roles in different, and yeah, the problem is if you are committed to a role, that could be a problem, especially if you're committed to alpha, because if you are by default committed to alpha. But if you don't even have a mission, then you're just an asshole. It's only people who have a product to produce that can, or ideas or whatever, that can take that alpha role. Otherwise, fall into the supporting role. But if you have that idea, that product, then you may fall into the leadership role. Now, there are some people who, their personality, they like the supporting role. It gives them pleasure to see their actions sort of helping someone according to very clear criteria. That's not a problem. So then maybe could it be not problematic as someone? But nobody should have a problem being in a supporting role. That's my point. Everybody should, it's okay if you don't really want to be in a leading role. That's fine. Do what you feel best, what feels best. But it's a problem if you don't want to be in a supporting role. If you only want to be supported, regardless of whether or what product you have, whether or not you have a product or what product it is. Shouldn't even be using words like supporting and leader. They're too loaded. Let's go just use the assembly line metaphor. What we are all supporting the community is what we should be. Anybody else, you suck. Or just go do your own thing then, but don't then have a community underneath you. We are all supporting. It's just a question of where you are along the development of the product that is for the community. Or if you find out you're on a flow that is not even for the community, then I don't really understand your existence. So if, for instance, if I want to be this big philosopher, I don't want to be this big philosopher, but if sometimes I imagine myself as a philosopher with people who watch my channel, then I'm not the leader. They're not my heiresses. We can all call ourselves heiress. I'll make my name lowercase. We all do what we can to be empirical, reasonable, imaginative, and skeptical, especially of ourselves. But I'm also not going to be the type of person who, once we have our island, and journalists come to check out the cult and stuff, I won't say, oh, there's no leader here. Leader might not be me. I might be somewhere along the flow for the idea. I think somebody else would better play the role of leader. I would need a lot of support for the idea. Be able to discuss with people. Have certain things taken care of so that I can focus on thinking. But it wouldn't be that, oh, hey, you're someone who's going to take care of this, right? It's what could your role be? Do you want to think with me? Do you want to lead with her? Do you want to clean with him? And it doesn't have to be one leader. We can have councils and whatever. My point was, started thinking about my future family. Oh, right. So let's just come up with some words right now. So we're all supporting for the community. So it goes like this. This isn't supposed to be a work together, but who gives a shit? What was that? Chill out. Let's imagine this. Let's guess farmers, they're pretty early on. Wait a minute, farmers are at both ends. They need, oh, but farmers get from the earth. So maybe, so earth gives to farmers who give to the community. Okay, let's try that. Then, no, we'll have to put it outside. So earth gives to farmers. Go ahead. Earth gives to farmers who give to the community. Bro, I don't know, but we're gonna put a we're gonna put an author here. We could put a researcher here. So they get a lot of support, funding from the community, and then people that take care of, you know, this work over here. The grunt work. I should just kept this work over here. And that's going to contribute to the ability of researchers to exist and to be able to focus on research, authors. And then authors can maybe use some of that research. And then authors, they produce a book, which then goes into the community. Oh, we've got teachers. Oh, you know, if teachers go here, then you might think that, oh shit, community needs to fund a whole bunch of energy into teachers. And that makes sense, because a lot of these things can follow from teachers. No, let's do manual, teachers, doctors, I don't even know what this is, but I'm making no claims about the relative value of anything. These are not value relationships. If anything, this would be, as the earth and community would be the most valuable, being the source of things. You're able to, so the community, I don't know whether community is the manual labor or what, but anyway, you have this manual stuff, which enables some people to learn things and learn how to teach other people things, which enables people to learn how to teach doctors things. So now you got people who can learn how to treat people, keep them alive, which is a pretty, I mean, it doesn't get interrupted. All of these things go directly to the community. Doctors keep the philosophers alive so they can start asking some questions, noticing things, thinking. They give some ideas to the researchers of what to look at. And then the researchers got to share what they found. And so then you have the authors that are like, okay, community, here's the knowledge that started with the plumbers and farmers and Earth. Let's look at it that way. There's no more boom, boom, boom. No, stop. Now, Restaurant servers, right? Servers. I mean, look, you're going like this. You're going like this. I mean, so I really don't know what this is, what I've drawn here. Servers, but I mean, what I mean is that, and then there are people, right, because this is a really interesting one, and this is an example I kept thinking of, that we don't value nurses as much as we value doctors. One reason is because of the bias to value the fewer over the many. So what if, I'm thinking about, I may still be being too linear, too hierarchical. Maybe they're, so what I was thinking is that, so this is incorrect what I'm about to say. Nurses support doctors and support the community. What's incorrect is having them have a secondary relationship to the community, a more indirect relationship. But actually I corrected that immediately. I said they contribute to the community. And then we have PAs, or whatever they're called, who help nurses, who help doctors, and who help the community. This could be a good way to look at it. This could be a good way to look at it. Every single person that has an honorable profession contributes with their daily activity directly to the community. The result, or there might be a delay between the production of the product and the effect, obviously. Right now, I am hopefully directly contributing to the community by helping us redefine our sense of roles. But it's not happening at this moment. So, everybody, every sum that's recorded or has any effect is a contribution to the community. Now, so if you weave a whole bunch of blankets and then they burn in a fire, okay, now you're not going to get an arrow for that day. That's okay. That's another capitalist brainwashing, evidence of the brainwashing of the value of productivity, that every day there needs to be some blankets. So, do you know what afferent means? So you have the brain. An afferent signal is a signal that comes from the body, from the senses somewhere, and goes to the brain. So it's arriving, afferent. And then the brain sends signals, and any signal that goes in this direction from the central nervous system into the periphery is an efferent signal with an E. So you can imagine an exit sign. No, sorry. You can imagine an exit sign. Okay, so E for efferent exit. And I remember when I taught someone this, I then confused myself for the next 10 years up until about a couple months ago. I could never remember which one was which. Because when I gave that mnemonic device to the students, this was in high school, I then said, but don't think, and then gave another thing, and ever since I can't remember which one is the actual good one, but I think exit is good. Okay, so notice that this physician's assistant, she's got a lot of efferent activity. She's given to the nurses, she's given to the doctors, she's given straight to the patients. She's also got afferent activity from manual, from the teachers who taught her, but she probably paid them. Wait. Oh no, that doesn't matter. Yeah, but she might have probably paid them a lot though. The teachers in a medical school, right? Anyway. But, so she's got a lot of afferent signals. He, sorry. I usually use the he pronoun. Let's use he for PA. He has some afferent ones, and he has a lot of efferent ones. Professionally, he's an efferent. So he contributes to the community, contributes to the nurse, contributes to doctors. That's what he does professionally. In his daily life, obviously, he's an afferent. Okay. Now, a doctor, well, he's going to definitely be an efferent. In his professional life, but in order to do that, yeah, he's going to have a lot of afferents himself. Let's say he's going to have a lot of afferents. They're afferents to him. Okay. Now, we should put at the very end here. The artist. The artist gives to the community. And the artist is maybe the only one. That's going to be stupid for me. I'm going to regret that. Let's just say for now, artist is an example of a profession that's pretty much totally, well, it should be. Gosh, it's hard to figure out how to use the words as nouns and adjectives and stuff. So, hold on. So everybody should be giving to artists. And artists basically give to nobody except the community. There's no demands. There should be no demands on artists. Artists have a lot of afferents. And really, we could say they have no afferents because they just need to be themselves, do their thing. And then if we get a chance to see it, if we get a chance to find some of the work, awesome. And if they didn't, yeah. But they need to really not be influenced. See, the more efferent you are, the more that your criteria is determined, the more that your responsibilities and rules are determined by others. And that's fucking okay. Everybody can't make up the rules. Okay, so that's what the difference is. The difference is that the more efferents you have, the more things you contribute to, the more demands you meet, then the more demands there are. So the PA has to meet a lot of demands, has to do what the patient asks, has to do what the nurses ask, has to do what the doctors ask. Shouldn't say has to, gets to. The PA has an awesome life. Okay, shouldn't say that either. I'm sure it's very difficult, but it's very rewarding, very clear. For if you're a PA and it's not rewarding, then why the fuck are you doing it? I don't know why I'm justifying my saying that it's your profession is rewarding. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's... Anyway, it's very rewarding. It's very clear maybe what has to happen. But no, also, yeah, of course, they have to make some decisions. And hopefully they're not deciding dosage, right? But yeah, and they get to contribute to all these different pieces of the system, and they know exactly how to do it. So another way, so we could do afferent, and then another way, we could qualify the different positions, the different roles that we play, is the imposition of demands. Now, maybe I don't like imposition because if the person is happy to do it, let's not look at it as an imposition. A demanded job. I have an undemanded job. I have a completely undemanded job. A server at a restaurant has a completely demanded job. The decisions made there are decided by other community members. I have an undemanded job, and an artist should be undemanded. And an author should be undemanded. I mean, a fiction author. Then there's, yeah, so I have an undemanded job. My efferent is the community. I don't really need a lot of afferents, just basic society function. And then someone to remind me to take my medicine. A researcher has a highly demanded job. And needs a lot of support, has a lot of afferents. And also, well, no, their afferent is the corporation who's paying for their thing, and well, that's their demand job. So I don't know the difference between an afferent and demand, but I have to go. We had fun. And despite our valuing of people who have a lot of afferents, which is silly to value, despite our valuing of that, it's an insult, at least in France, to say that someone likes to be in charge. And we're very quick to say that someone's bossy, that someone needs to be better than other people, tell them what to do. We should not be shaming people who receive a pleasurable reaction in their brain when they play the role of leader. And we should not be shaming people who have a pleasurable reaction in the brain when they play the role of an afferent, of the leader's afferent. It makes sense that our brains would evolve to enjoy roles. First of all, we all know that we love having roles, and it's okay that some brains enjoy being leaders and some brains don't get that same pleasure. That's okay. In fact, it works out quite nicely, doesn't it? No, I didn't edit it, but I did watch a little bit of it just to get some of the same pleasure that you do. And there was something conspicuously missing. Two things conspicuously missing, but one more interesting than the other. So we didn't have an arrow going from community to farmers, but whatever, we can just say that that was a mistake. But it's really interesting is there's no arrow to earth, and that was like a proper mistake. Like, I knew that community's giving to farmers, but it didn't cross my mind the idea of what if we gave to earth.